Right before the SATs, my best friend got me a good luck charm from a temple. That night, my great-grandma came to me in a dream. A smart kid like you falling for this old superstition? A good luck charm, my ass. You think it's gonna help you get what, a 280? Throw that cursed thing out now. I asked nervously, but great-grandma, aren't you technically a cursed thing, too? This is someone trying to curse you so you'll bomb your exams. She yelled. I ran my legs off down below just to save your skin. And just like she said, I bombed the SATs. My best friend, however, got the state's top score. Depressed, I jumped from a tall building. Only in my last moments did I learn that my best friend had used an imp to switch my test scores with hers. Now, starting over, my great-grandma came to me in a dream again. This time, I dropped to my knees and begged her to save me. All right. I pulled some strings for you down below. I'll see what I can do. Later, the connections my great-grandma arranged for arrived. To my left stood Fan Wujio, and to my right, Xiebayan. Black and white impermanents themselves were my personal bodyguards. It was the first class of the afternoon in our senior year. Our homeroom teacher was announcing the rankings from the latest practice exam. As expected, I was number 1 again. The moment class ended, my best friend, Maya, came up to my desk. Chloe, I'm so jealous. Number 1 again. By the way, I went to the temple a few days ago and got us some good luck charms, one for each of us. Maybe some of your brain power will rub off on me and help me pass. As she spoke, she handed me a triangular, yellowish-brown paper charm. A cold sweat broke out all over my body. I was back. I had been reborn. It was 1 week before the SATs. Maya stood in front of me, a sweet smile on her face. But the charm in her hand was emitting a faint, dark aura. In my past life, Maya had given me a charm just like this. That very night, my great-grandma appeared in my dream. She warned me that I'd gotten my hands on something cursed that would harm me, and I needed to throw it away immediately. I thought the dream was a bad omen, and tried to take the charm off. But my deskmate Leo found out and urged me not to. He said it was a gift from my best friend, and that throwing it away would be a terrible thing to do to her. At the time, I just thought the dream was a bunch of nonsense and didn't pay it any mind. But over the next few days, I felt groggy and unfocused. During the actual SATs, I felt like I did great, but when the scores came out, I, the perennial number 1 student, had only scored a 280. Meanwhile, Maya, who had always been a total slacker, performed spectacularly. She walked away with the top score in the state. Afterward, she consoled me, saying I could always try again next year. I was so touched that I baked a cake and went over to her place to celebrate with her. But instead, I found her on the roof, secretly meeting with the guy I had a crush on. And I overheard their entire conversation. Maya said, that idiot Chloe actually thinks I'm her friend. I used an imp to swap our scores and she still has no idea. How can someone that dumb be a top student? She's unbelievably stupid. You had something this powerful? Why didn't you use it sooner? I have you to thank for this. If you hadn't convinced her not to take off that charm, she wouldn't have been so obedient. It all clicked. I furiously stormed out to confront them. You used black magic to hurt me. Weren't we supposed to be best friends? Maya just looked at me with contempt. Can being best friends get me into a good school? Getting into an Ivy League means I'll be set for life. Chloe, you're just too naive. I'm going to report you for cheating. She laughed so hard she doubled over. And who's going to believe you? As she spoke, a grotesque little imp crawled out from the charm around her neck, baring its sinister fangs at me. I stumbled backward, fell off the roof, and died instantly. And Maya, using the accolades my scores brought her, went off to a top university with the guy of her dreams to live a perfect life. The memory faded. I stared at the charm in front of me, not reaching out to take it. Seeing my hesitation, Maya got a little anxious. What's wrong? It's a gift. If you don't take it, you're not treating me like a friend. I watched her cautiously. I didn't know if the curse would activate the second I touched the charm. I wasn't about to risk it. Suppressing my disgust, I said, "Are you trying to get me in trouble? If I bring this into the testing center, what if the proctor thinks I'm cheating? Well, you could just wear it for the next few days and take it off before the exam. You really want me to wear this?" You're not trying to curse me, are you? I held my ground. My desk mate, Leo, saw what was happening and chimed in. Just take it, Chloe. It can't hurt. My mom got me one too. Besides, it's a thoughtful gift from Maya. It's kind of cold to just reject it. I shot Leo a cold look. In my last life, he and Maya had worked together to set me up. He knew exactly what this thing was, but still pushed me to wear it. Now I finally understood his intentions. I figured if I didn't take the charm today, they'd just find another way to give it to me. Better to let them think their plan was working while I figured out what they were really up to. So I told Maya to just put it on my desk. When they weren't looking, I carefully wrapped the thing in a tissue and went home, my mind heavy. With the SATs so close, our homeroom teacher gave those of us who lived nearby permission to study at home. If I remembered correctly, the last time I got the charm, my great-grandma visited my dream that very night. I didn't have any other ideas, so my only hope was for her to come to me in a dream again. Sure enough, I had just fallen asleep that night when I was jolted awake by a sharp rap. I looked up to see a tiny old woman with bound feet staring me down, furiously whacking my head with a ruler. You fool. An absolute fool. A smart kid like you falling for this old superstition? A good luck charm, my ass. You think it's gonna help you get what, a 280? Throw that cursed thing out now. Tears welled in my eyes as I slid to the floor and bowed my head. Great-grandma, you're finally here. Please, you have to save me. The dream version of my great-grandma looked a little stunned, but after a moment she nodded. Good, you're not completely clueless. That charm has a curse on it. There's an imp living inside. The second you touch it, the imp's dark energy will cling to you and drain your life force until there's nothing left. My face went pale. It was just as I'd suspected. My great-grandma had warned me in my last life, but I'd completely ignored her. So what do I do now? I haven't touched the charm. Will the imp still come after me? Great-grandma put away her ruler and paced back and forth, analyzing the situation. It doesn't matter. The curse was cast using one of your personal belongings. Even if you didn't take the charm, you'd still be a target. The person who did this is using the imp to eat away at your brain. If you keep wearing that charm, a piece of your mind will be transferred to her every day. After 7 days, your brain will be completely gone. Hearing this, my heart went cold. Was this a dead end? Seeing my despair, great-grandma sighed and patted my head. Don't you worry. Our family hasn't produced a potential top scholar in 18 generations. I'll run my legs to the bone down below if I have to, but I will protect you. With that, she vanished. Just as I was thinking she couldn't help me, she reappeared, now holding a long-stemmed pipe. She took a puff and said, I pulled some strings for you with my connections down below. You just focus on your exams. What do I do with the charm? I asked carefully. A grin spread across great-grandma's face as she leaned in and whispered in my ear. Listen closely. The object inside that charm was made from something of yours. Isn't your period due in a couple of days? I had no idea what she was getting at. Great-grandma's plan was pretty ruthless. She explained that an imp's master has to feed it with the host's own blood. With the SATs just 7 days away, the person trying to curse me would have to feed the imp daily. She told me that when the ritual to feed the imp began, I needed to sprinkle my period blood on the charm to break the evil magic. Menstrual blood is considered a powerful, spiritually unclean substance. It was perfect for fighting black magic with more unclean magic. I woke up drenched in sweat. I looked at the charm on my desk and, without a second thought, ordered some medicine on DoorDash to make my period come faster. The plan was a bit gross, a bit twisted, but compared to what Maya did to me, it was nothing. The next morning, I asked my mom to light some incense and burn some spirit money for great-grandma, to ask her to help me do well on my exams. Not long after I got to school, Maya buzzed around me like a fly. She looked me up and down, then asked eagerly, Where's the good luck charm I gave you? Are you wearing it? I heard that if you wear it while you study, you'll remember everything you review these next few days. I sneered internally but kept my expression neutral. Really? I've been wearing it ever since you told me to. Meanwhile, I was calculating. I'd taken the medicine, and my stomach was starting to ache. Now, all I had to do was wait for Maya to perform her ritual to feed the imp. During morning study hall, I kept a close eye on Maya. I saw her prick her finger with a compass. Then she crumbled up her soy milk and fried dough stick and dropped the pieces under her desk. She was muttering something under her breath. The food disappeared as soon as it hit the floor. In the dim light, I thought I could see a small, dark, skinny figure squatting under her desk. She was feeding the imp. I was getting anxious. My period hadn't started yet, so I couldn't break her spell. We had a practice test that morning. I was distracted the whole time. Maya, on the other hand, was unusually focused, like she'd been possessed by a genius. I squinted and saw what looked like an invisible black thread connecting the two of us. When the test results came back, Maya had scored a 138 in math. I, on the other hand, was off my game and only got a 102. Maya was ecstatic, waving her test paper around. The good luck charm really works. My math score jumped so much. It wasn't the charm that was working, it was her imp. But to catch a fish, you need the right bait. I put on a miserable expression, keeping my head down as if I were devastated. Then I turned to Leo next to me and said, Maya's really had a breakthrough. Is that charm really so magical? Who knows, maybe she'll get into the same college as me. Her family's rich too. If she gets into a good university, she'll probably have a ton of guys after her. Leo liked Maya for 2 reasons. She was pretty, and her family had money. In my last life, Maya and Leo used the imp to swap my scores. But Leo didn't get a single thing out of it. Just as I expected. My words made Leo's face darken. His practice test score was only a 96. He shot me a strange, dark look and said, yeah, at this rate, she could probably get into an Ivy League school. I patted his shoulder. Don't you worry. That charm is so powerful. Why don't I ask Maya to get one for you too? Then you'll ace the exam, and we can all go to the same university. My suggestion seemed to strike a chord with him. He gave me an odd smile. Well, thanks for the thought. Next was the English practice test. I underperformed again. And Maya again did exceptionally well. At lunch, I faked a stomachache and slipped off to the bathroom. My period had finally arrived. Wasting no time, I pulled out the charm Maya had given me and dripped some blood on it. The moment the blood touched the paper, it sizzled. A puff of black smoke rose from it. Suppressing my fear, I sealed the charm in a plastic bag and hid it in the toilet's water tank. As soon as I walked out of the bathroom, I saw the two of them whispering secretively in a corner of the hallway, seemingly in the middle of an argument. Leo was saying, that thing is the real deal. You aced 2 subjects in a row. The imp must be stealing Chloe's brain. Maya's voice was getting more and more smug. I told you it was powerful. Just you wait. 7 days from now, when the SATs start, all the knowledge in Chloe's head will be mine. So you get a great score, but what about me? I helped you and I get nothing? You're stealing her grades anyway. Why don't you get a charm for me too? If I do well on the SATs, we can even apply to the same university. Unsurprisingly, Leo was demanding his share of my scores. Maya hesitated. I could, but my imp can only connect to me and her at the same time. If I add you to the mix, I'm afraid the effect won't be as good. Leo sneered, crossing his arms. I knew it. You just want to get into a good school by yourself and ditch me. If you don't cut me in, I'll go tell Chloe everything right now. Once she throws that charm away, let's see how you cast your spells. Panicked, Maya immediately agreed. But to cast a new spell, they'd need another one of my personal belongings as a medium. During the afternoon break, just as I'd anticipated, Leo poked my arm. Chloe, we probably won't see each other much after graduation. How about we trade something as a memento? I pretended to search reluctantly for a while before pulling out a red string bracelet. I braided this with my own hair, so it's pretty special to me. If you don't mind, you can have it. Leo took the bracelet, overjoyed. He gave me a fountain pen in return. I smiled to myself. The bracelet was indeed braided with hair. But it wasn't my hair, it was Maya's. In my past life, just before the exams, Maya had used our friendship to get some of my hair, claiming she wanted to braid bracelets. I didn't think anything of it and got some of her hair to make a matching one. Not long after, she gave me the charm with the imp. She must have used my hair to cast the curse. Now I was curious. Since Leo now had Maya's hair, Would the curse backfire on Maya herself? Over the next few days, whenever I sensed Maya was feeding the imp, I'd use my period blood to disrupt her magic. After a few rounds of this, she started looking worried and exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes, like she hadn't slept in days. The way she looked at me grew stranger and stranger. After class, she stopped me as I was about to head home. "Chloe, you've been looking a little dark around the temples lately. Have you run into anything bad?" I laughed internally. Did she really not know what bad thing I'd run into? "Nope. I've been wearing the charm you gave me this whole time." Maya sighed. "Good, just keep wearing it. I got it from a temple, and it was blessed. It's really effective against evil spirits." I found this incredibly strange. Could she have figured something out? That night when I got home, I immediately lit 3 sticks of incense at my great-grandma's memorial tablet, praying for her to visit my dreams. My parents saw my odd behavior and were baffled. "Why are you always lighting incense for your great-grandma lately? We've never seen you be so superstitious. Honey, are you under too much stress?" I made up an excuse about wanting good luck on the SATs, then slipped into my room and tried to fall asleep quickly. In a haze, I sensed a small, stooped figure standing by my bed. The old woman was holding her pipe and sitting cross-legged at the foot of my bed. I said excitedly, "Great-grandma, I did what you said. I've been putting period blood on the charm every day. And I gave Maya's hair to Leo. Do you think he'll use it to cast a spell?" Great-grandma frowned. "I'm not sure about that. But the imp that girl is keeping seems powerful. To get rid of it for good, you have to find its remains." "Remains?" "Yes," she continued. "People who raise imps always have the imp's physical vessel. If you can't find it and release the spirit, even if you make it through the SATs, that imp will haunt you for the rest of your life. You'll never have peace." Great-grandma sighed. "Listen to me. Tomorrow when you get to school, you do this, and then—" "Great-grandma, I'm scared. She has an imp. What do I have to fight it with?" She snorted. "What's an imp? You have me, and I've got connections down below. Don't worry, when the time comes, I'll definitely lend you a hand." As she spoke, a sudden chill ran through me. A wave of cold, dark energy washed over my entire body. Great-grandma's expression changed instantly. Before she could react, a small, withered hand shot out from the darkness and grabbed her ankle. A pitch-black little imp was tilting its head and grinning at us, baring its sharp, white teeth. Great-grandma yelped and jumped up. "You filthy thing! How dare you invade a dream to harm someone? Take this." She swung her pipe and brought it down hard on the imp's head. The imp shrieked in pain and lunged at her like a wild animal. I rushed forward to help, but before I could get close, the darkness around me tore apart. I woke up on my bed, drenched in sweat, a heavy weight pressing on my chest. A metallic taste filled my throat, and I coughed up a mouthful of black blood onto my blanket. Before I could process what was happening, my bedroom door opened, and the bright overhead light stabbed at my eyes. My parents walked in, and with them was Maya. "Chloe, are you okay? Did you have a nightmare? We heard you screaming." I was still disoriented, looking nervously at Maya. "What are you doing in my house?" It was the middle of the night. Maya's presence, combined with the imp attacking my great-grandma in my dream, felt deeply wrong. Maya sat on the edge of my bed, her face a mask of concern. "Your parents called me. They were worried you've been under too much stress at school lately. I've noticed you've been a little off, so I thought I'd come over and talk." We used to be close, and since she lived in the next neighborhood over, we often visited each other's houses. My head was covered in cold sweat, but I just watched her warily. Maya continued talking on her own. "It looked like you were trapped in a nightmare, calling for your great-grandma. Have you been having dreams about people who have passed away? I heard that's really bad for the living. I'm worried it will affect your exams." My parents nodded in agreement. "Yes, Chloe's been lighting incense for her great-grandma constantly." I knew something was strange. "That's terrible. Your great-grandma must be haunting your dreams." Maya's sharp eyes darted to my neck, and she suddenly shrieked. "What's that on your neck? It looks like a handprint." I pulled my collar down and saw several distinct finger marks on my neck. They were clearly from the imp in my dream, but Maya started speaking frantically to my parents. It must be because Chloe's great-grandma loved her so much when she was alive, so she keeps visiting her in her dreams. But a living person can't handle having their energy drained like that. Uncle, Auntie, maybe you should burn some incense and ask her to stop visiting Chloe. My dad's face grew grim. My mom was also terrified by the dark handprint on my neck. Look what that old woman has done to our child. I told you we shouldn't have kept her ashes in the house. Get them now. We're driving them back to our hometown tonight. My dad nodded, agreeing it was a good idea. Now I was the one panicking. No, you can't take great-grandma away. She didn't haunt me, she wasn't hurting me. Dad, Mom, how can you be so superstitious? That's great-grandma. Would she ever hurt me? Maya, stop talking nonsense. What are you doing here in the middle of the night? You should go home. I didn't dare cross Maya right now. She had an imp, and she was in my house. What if she made it hurt my parents? But Maya just gave me a chilling little smile. Do you still have the charm I gave you? Afraid she'd get suspicious. I pulled it out from under my pillow to show her I was still wearing it. Only then did Maya smile and leave. No matter what I said after that, my dad was determined to take my great-grandma's urn back to our hometown. I couldn't stop him, so I had to find another way. For the rest of the night, no matter how hard I tried to sleep, my great-grandma didn't return to my dreams. The next day, I went to school with a heavy heart. Maya looked even paler than before, with dark circles under her eyes, looking completely drained. Leo, on the other hand, was full of energy, as if Maya's help had reinvigorated him. I feigned concern and patted Maya's right shoulder. Maya, have you been under too much stress? Thanks so much for coming over last night. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known that dreams about the dead are a bad thing. I hadn't forgotten what my great-grandma told me before she was attacked. My counterspell had weakened Maya's imp, and now it needed to absorb a huge amount of life force. Maya had no magical training herself, and being drained of so much energy was taking a toll on her body. People have 3 life flames, one on each shoulder and one on their head. Because Maya was raising an imp, the flame on her left shoulder had already gone out. Just now, by patting her right shoulder from behind, I had intentionally snuffed out the flame on her right. Her eyes glazed over for a moment, and it took her a while to force a smile. I'm fine, probably just a little cold. Anyway, how are you feeling today? You need to focus on reviewing these next few days, so you can do your best on the exam. Try not to think about your great-grandma. I scoffed internally. Still trying to steal my brain, huh? She wants me to study hard, so she can reap the benefits? I immediately told her I was feeling great, and then casually added, has something good happened to Leo lately? He seems so energetic, and he's way more focused in class than usual. Could it be that your good luck charm is protecting him too? At my words, Maya instinctively glanced over at Leo. She saw him in the back of the classroom, laughing and joking with another girl. Her face immediately darkened, and she angrily crumpled the paper in her hand into a ball. I'm working myself to death feeding that thing, and he has the nerve to flirt with other girls. Seeing that her attention was now completely on Leo, I pretended to have just remembered something. Maya, there's something I don't know if I should tell you. I think Leo's been acting a little strange lately. He asked me for one of your personal belongings. Do you think he likes you? And he's too afraid to confess, so he's trying to get things of yours from me. It took Maya a moment to process. Her eyes darted back and forth before she fixed me with a dark stare. He asked for something of mine? What did you give him? Oh, nothing much, just a bracelet I braided from your hair. He said anything would do, and I couldn't say no when he kept begging. That made Maya completely lose it. That bracelet was made from my hair. I feigned confusion. Yeah, it's yours. He specifically asked for something of yours. I saw something online once about people using a strand of their crush's hair to cast some kind of love spell, so the person will fall for them. You've been looking so unwell lately. You don't think Leo actually put a spell on you, do you? Maya was frantic. You idiot. How could you give him that bracelet? That was a gift from me to you. Forgetting all about me, she stormed to the back of the classroom, grabbed Leo, and started shaking him violently. What did you take my stuff for? I knew you were up to no good. You don't want me to get into a good school, do you? You're trying to sabotage me so you can benefit instead. Leo, stunned, clamped a hand over her mouth and dragged her out of the classroom. The other students were completely bewildered. I, however, stood there enjoying the show. A dog-eat-dog fight was always entertaining. As soon as they were gone, I went straight to Maya's desk. I rummaged through it and sure enough, found a small, palm-sized urn. Inside was some kind of unknown powder. Could this be the imp's ashes? Suppressing my excitement, I quickly poured the ashes into a plastic bag and secretly stuffed it into my pocket. Then I went to the school store, bought a dozen packets of instant milk tea mix, and poured them into the urn. Aside from the slightly stronger artificial fragrance, it looked exactly the same. Just then, a sharp female voice came from behind me. "Chloe, what are you doing?" Maya and Leo were back. It was break time, so the classroom was mostly empty. She rushed towards me. Seeing her coming, I immediately grabbed the urn and held it high above my head. "Don't come any closer. One more step and I'll smash this thing. Let's see how you curse anyone then." As I said this, I frantically made eye contact with Leo. "Leo, get over here. You were right. Maya really is trying to hurt me. This is the urn with the imp's ashes you told me about, right? I found it." Leo stood there, completely confused. "What are you talking about? When did I ever tell you about an imp?" I kept up the act. "Stop pretending. The cat's out of the bag. If you hadn't told me, how would I have found this? Don't worry, I don't blame you. This was all Maya's plan." That was the last straw for Maya. She spun around and glared at Leo. "So you did tell her? And you deliberately took my hair and asked me to cast a spell? You were working with her to trick me all along, weren't you?" Now Leo couldn't explain himself even if he wanted to. He realized I was framing him and started to panic. "Maya, don't listen to her. She's just trying to turn us against each other. Use the imp to stop her, quickly." Maya looked suspiciously at Leo, then at the urn in my hands, before finally saying in a low, menacing voice, "Chloe, put that down." I tossed the urn from my left hand to my right, taunting her. "Really? That's not what Leo told me. He said you put a curse on me to make me fail my exams, and that I should steal this urn. He also said that smashing it would break your spell." Maya's expression didn't change. She slowly approached me, a cold smile on her face. "Stop acting, Chloe. Don't think I don't know what you've been up to these past few days. You've known all along, haven't you? Who told you? It wasn't Leo, he doesn't have the guts. It was that dead old hag from your family, wasn't it? If I hadn't been careful and sent the imp into your dreams to check, I never would have known you were plotting so much." With that, she lunged, trying to snatch the urn from my hands. Seeing that she knew everything and that last night was a setup, I let my hands go slack. The urn fell to the floor and shattered into pieces. Maya's face twisted in fury. She threw herself onto the ground, frantically trying to scoop up the scattered ashes. "It's over. It's all over, Chloe." She stared at me, her eyes bloodshot. I feigned innocence. "I've never seen someone play the victim so well. You were the one trying to hurt me, and now you're blaming me." Maya's face went from pale to flushed and back again. She stood there twitching like she was having a seizure, then shot to her feet. "You forced me to do this, Chloe. I just wanted your grades. You're so smart, you could ace the SATs next year anyway. As my best friend, what's wrong with making a little sacrifice for me? So what if you know? Your dead old grandma has been sent away. There's no one left to help you now." As she spoke, she pulled a pencil sharpener blade from a nearby desk and clenched it in her fist. Blood immediately started to trickle from her palm. She gave a sinister smile. "You two force my hand. Do you really think you can escape my curse just by destroying the urn?" She ripped the charm from her neck and let her blood drip onto it. Instantly, a small, dark, shadowy figure emerged from the charm. The imp had a massive head and two pitch-black eyes that stared greedily at the blood on Maya's hand. It crawled onto her arm and began to suck frantically. As it drank her blood, the imp's dark form seemed to grow larger. Maya, however, appeared to age rapidly, looking a decade older in a matter of seconds. Leo cowered nearby, shouting, "Maya, don't do it." But she didn't seem to hear him, her eyes fixed on me with pure hatred. "Since you won't cooperate, I'll just have the imp possess your body. The effect will be the same. After the SATs, I'll use your scores to get into a great university, and you'll be slowly drained of your life force by the parasitic imp until you die. Leo, what are you waiting for? Hold her down. Leo reluctantly charged forward. The two of them pinned me to the floor, one on each side, leaving me completely unable to move. Just then, Maya knelt down, grabbed a handful of the scattered ashes from the floor, and shoved them into my mouth. I was completely stunned. Before I could react, my mouth was full of ashes. To be precise, it was full of instant milk tea powder. It was sickeningly sweet. Maya, however, was in a frenzy. Once you eat the imp's ashes, you'll be possessed. You'll become a soulless shell. Then, if I tell you to die, you'll obey without question. I couldn't believe this was happening. Thank God I had swapped the ashes beforehand. The imp's actual ashes might have had that terrifying effect, but I was pretty sure instant milk tea powder didn't. If it did, someone should have patented it. Sure enough, I swallowed several handfuls of milk tea powder, choking so hard that tears streamed down my face. Finally satisfied, Maya ordered the imp to enter my body. The imp gave me a sinister look and crawled towards me on all fours. Its icy little hand grabbed my ankle. My heart leaped into my throat. I kept screaming, "Great-grandma, great-grandma, save me." The words had barely left my lips when two dark figures appeared, one on either side of me. One was dressed in white, with a tall, pointed hat that read, "Fortune at a glance." The other was in black, with a hat that said, "Peace on Earth." The two figures held chains in their hands and stood protectively in front of me, giving me a nonchalant glance. I was floored. Were these the connections great-grandma had called in from the underworld? Or, I guess, the ghost connections? Weren't these black and white impermanents? The imp was frozen in its tracks, stunned by their presence, unsure of what to do. Maya and Leo apparently couldn't see them. Seeing the imp hesitate, Maya snapped, "Get inside her body. What are you just standing there for?" The imp was in an impossible situation. The chains of black and white impermanence were already around its neck. Even if it wanted to move, it couldn't. Maya muttered useless under her breath. I, however, reached into my pocket. With my great-grandma's connections on my side, my confidence soared. I fumbled in my pocket, grabbed a handful of ashes, and while Maya's mouth was open to curse, I shot up and shoved them into her mouth, forcing her jaw shut until she swallowed. She didn't have time to react and started coughing violently from the ashes. "What did you give her?" Leo tried to grab me to help Maya. I quickly pulled out another handful and stuffed it into his mouth. "Don't worry, there's enough for you too." Leo realized what was happening and tried to spit it out. But it was too late. Now they both had a mouthful of ashes. Once I was done, I scrambled to my feet, put a safe distance between us and said, "How does it taste?" "These are the real ashes of that little imp. Sugar-free, so you don't have to worry about diabetes." The two of them realized what had happened and immediately started trying to make themselves throw up. I shook my head and sighed. "Don't spit it out. You both love raising imps so much. I was just trying to help you out. It's just old superstition, right? The worst that can happen is a little diarrhea. No big deal, right?" Maya was so angry her eyes rolled back in her head. Leo grabbed her arm desperately. "Make the imp get her." Maya was panicking too. "I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just frozen, completely useless. Maybe there wasn't enough blood to command it?" I chuckled to myself. It wasn't a lack of blood, it was the two VIPs standing next to me. How could a lowly imp dare to move in their presence? Leo was frantic. "We just ate the imp's ashes. What's going to happen to us?" Maya's face was white as a sheet. After a long moment, she said, "The imp will possess both of us. It will feed on us until it has drained all of our blood." Leo was furious. He crawled over to me. "Save me. I don't want to die." Maya was the one who raised the imp. She was the one who wanted to hurt you. She forced me into this from the very beginning. I shook my head. "There's nothing I can do. I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine." Maya didn't believe it was over. She cut her own arm, letting even more blood flow. She tried to command the imp again, but it could only look at the blood with longing. It was helpless. The two underworld figures had already shackled the imp and were preparing to take it away. From the blood loss, Maya was as pale as a sheet of paper, muttering to herself, "That's not right. Why isn't it working?" I did everything the way the online forum said. Why isn't it working? Was I scammed? Seeing that neither of them was a threat anymore, I finally relaxed and gave a trembling bow to Black and White Impermanence. Thank you both for your help. They paid me no mind, just stared at me coldly for a moment. If your great-grandma hadn't paid us so well, we wouldn't have bothered making the trip. Alright, you clean up this mess yourself. We're leaving. With that, the two VIPs dragged the imp soul away. Before he left, White Impermanence glanced at Maya. Your time isn't up yet, so we won't take you today. But in a few days, we will naturally come for your soul. In that moment, it seemed Maya could see them too. She was completely frozen. After a long while, she let out a scream and ran out of the classroom like a madwoman. After Black and White Impermanence took the imp away, I followed my great-grandma's instructions and took its ashes to a Taoist temple, pouring them all into an incense burner. I guess you could call that a final release. The black handprint on my chest took several days to fade. The day before the SATs, I bought a huge stack of spirit money and burned it for my great-grandma down below, muttering, "Thank you, great-grandma, for your protection. And thank your connections for saving my butt." That night, she came to me in a dream and said, "Send gold ingots next time. Big bills aren't in circulation down here." On the day of the exam, I did great. I heard Maya didn't even take the SATs. She had fallen ill and was in the hospital. Her family took her to several hospitals, but no one could figure out what was wrong with her. She was completely delirious, constantly screaming that Black and White Impermanence were coming to take her soul. Her family had no choice but to have her committed to a psychiatric hospital. As for Leo, because of everything that had happened, he did terribly on his exams, not even scoring high enough for a community college. After graduation, he went straight to work on an assembly line. Later, I heard he got involved with a few of his female co-workers, and one of their husbands found out and broke his legs. When the SAT scores came out, I was the only top scorer in the city. My family threw a huge banquet for me, and everyone said our family's ancestors must be smiling down on us. Only I knew it was my great-grandma's grave that was smoking, because she was down there, puffing on her pipe. The end.